All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to a new season of the HHC podcast. I am your host, Jacob Moreno, and I'm here with my wonderful brothers, Juan and Chris. Guys, how have y'all been in this off season? What have y'all been working on? What have y'all been doing?
Go first, Juan.
Uh, freaking chilling. It's been football season lately, but that summer stretch of nothing, as a sports guy, it's rough. I don't know. I feel
Yes,
bad for
sir.
dad sometimes because he's watching baseball, and I'm like, ugh, I can't do it.
Can't, man. It's rough. I feel you. I feel you. I have been trying to figure out what to do with my life whenever there's no sports, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to come up with something to entertain yourself when there's no basketball or football going on. But, Chris, how have you been?
I've been good. I don't. I guess I kind of agree. I'm trying not to slander baseball like 2 seconds into the show or whatever. But um, yeah. So when once the Spurs season's over, I take the summer to be away from sports a little bit. Actually, no, I take that back. Shout out to Becky Hammond and the
Oh yeah.
Aces.
Oh,
I think being a basketball fan, the fact that you could jump right into WNBA as soon as NBA is over, like it was a fun run to watch them do their thing. On the sports side, that's where I was at. Got a chance to take a trip to New York over the summer. Spend some time with people and all that kind of stuff. So it's been good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. As for me, as you can see, another new setup. I'm in another little apartment place. Living the college life, doing another year of school at Texas Tech, and it's been great. It's been great. I have a fun job that it has me involved with the team, with the Texas Tech football team, and I get to pretty much go to every game and have a lot of fun just experiencing what a different year of college is like. So our off seasons have been very interesting. It's been fun. It's been fun to grow as people, but also as Spurs fans, because that's what we're on here to do. We're brothers here, um, talking about a Spurs, uh, talking about Spurs basketball, and we get on every Sunday at 10 a.m. Obviously, we're a little late. Had a little bit of technical difficulties. I
That
woke
that
up.
co- that college life, aka the
Yeah,
power just turns off for
I
no
was just
reason.
say I woke up today and I had no power on, so we were getting stuff situated. But in a usual sense, we'll be getting on every Sunday at 10 a.m. To all platforms of Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. All of which you will be able to catch us during our said live time at 10 a.m. But the full podcast will be on after, and what will be returning are the HHC clips. So be on the lookout for that throughout the weeks, where we will be having all the highlights and special segments and stuff coming to y'all in nice short segments, whether that being just regular YouTube videos, or what we'll try to do is we'll try to add some TikTok/YouTube clips into the future. Um,
Yeah.
make
I do want to cut in real quick just to right now we are having for whatever reason through the StreamYard a little errors with going live on Twitter. So I'll keep trying to do it as we move forward, but just for right now that's not where we are.
mhm.
And then just to echo what you're saying, in talks of the summer, it's like this episode one. I'm excited for some of the things that we have in store to change and new things to include in the channel and all that kind of stuff. So my spirits are high.
Exactly, exactly. Since he was talking about Twitter, I'll go ahead and mention that we do talk Spurs basketball on the near daily, especially throughout the season when the games are happening. You make sure that you do follow us at Heroes Half Court, where we will be having most of those conversations. We do love having the engagement and talking with the Spurs community. I know for me, it's been wonderful to just see everybody kind of band together and either join in on one conversation where we're talking about who is that guy for us, or we're talking about Team Tank, whether we're trying to see if we're going to compete or we're going to just blow it all up. It's been great to engage with Spurs Twitter in that manner. But we have a special episode. Crazy that it just so happened to work out like this, because we are on episode 50 to start season 3, to start the 50th season of Spurs basketball. Guys, how do y'all feel about having 50 seasons of Spurs basketball? What's your how, like, just what's the excitement bringing to y'all whenever you hear 50th season of Spurs basketball? Juan, I'll let you start off this.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. I'm 24 years old. I've been watching the Spurs, like, as early as I can remember, sitting on the couch with my dad. But, like, just to think that it was only twice my age, that they've been doing this, and I got to be a part of, like, the most successful run as well, is, like, awesome to think about. Even though I was, like, I don't know, 1 years old when we won the first championship, but hey, I was here for all of them. But yeah, to celebrate 50, those were one of those cool moments, and like the seasons, right? Like this, I know the Spurs have like a lot of things planned during this year, little events and promotions, just to promote like the history, the culture, the impact on San Antonio. We all live in the area except for Jake because he moved away. But we're all gonna get to feel that like kind of special feeling in the air, just celebrating like what the Spurs have done for our community. I could not imagine the San Antonio area without the San Antonio Spurs, and for them to be there for 50 years, or for however long, just like that impact and what they bring to the community, bring us all together, like that is a special feeling. And to know we have plenty more years to come. It's awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. And just bonding over like Spurs basketball is something that something that we've done obviously our whole lives, and it kind of stems from like our dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think of, it's like, dang, we're entering kind of the eras that he was coming up in, and so as part of it makes me feel a little old. All the throwback stuff, I'm like, dang, it's not throwback to me. I remember those days. So there's a lot of emotion tied to the 50th season. I echo all the stuff that Juan said too, though. Like it is going to be fun to just be along for that ride. It's it came at the perfect time, the 50th season, because this is kind of like our final, like, remember the good old days kind of season, hopefully, you know what I mean? Whereas on the basketball court, we're going to be still searching for like who's taking us into the new era kind of thing. So it's gonna be. I'm ready for it. I'm super excited for all the development we get to see on the court. I'm fortunate enough to I have tickets to go see them play the Warriors in Alamo Dome this year, so that's gonna be great. The school that I work for, we're gonna go and play a pregame for for one of the games this season as well. So I'm always attached to the Spurs on the court, but there's just more reasons to be attached to them off the court this year too, which is gonna be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I know, just to kind of shout it out a little bit, there's like one thing that I think Bill and Sean said on this last preseason game. I think Bill had said that they're gonna have like 50 10-minute segments of like interviews and whatever to like talk to like the people of Spurs past, right? And that's exciting to me. Like I'm pretty sure I did the math, and I want to say that's like 6 hours of content or something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot, or maybe I might be like just a little bit off on that. It's definitely more than a couple hours of content that will be.
Did he mention where it would be at? I mean, probably just like their YouTube channel or something.
Yeah, I mean, he said that it'll be coming out through the season, just on the games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I'd assume that it'll probably, after it shows up on the game, then it'll go to YouTube shortly after, right? But it's exciting to hear that they're they're going to be doing a lot of stuff to honor 50 seasons. And I'm the youngest out of all of us, so it's definitely one of those things where I really didn't even get to see us. Like, I got to see us in 2014. That was like kind of like the year that I was really starting to watch basketball. It was like 2013, 2014. And like that means that everything before that is considered, like kind of not necessarily old, but just like a little throwback, a little bit of like this, like, I didn't watch this firsthand, is something for me to learn. This is something for me to experience for the first time, kind of stuff. So there's a lot of Spurs history that as much as I do like to read up on Spurs history, there's a lot of Spurs history that I don't know yet, being as young as I am. So it's super exciting to see this 50th season, to see all this stuff come up. And I guess like the one thing that we didn't mention with the big 5-0 was David.
Right.
This is 50th episode, and we are mentioning our Spurs past, stuff like that, and David was definitely somebody who kept the name going for as many years as he could, So
Shout out,
Chris, yeah,
shout out
Chris,
to David.
you were pretty much the only one that got to watch David firsthand, So
Well, I'll bring on another one too, to kind of let him chime in and intro for the season and everything like that. So bringing on to the stage our fourth brother.
oh shoot, there he is.
What's up, boys? What's up?
How you doing, Josh? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm a little late to the party, but it's all good. I'm here now.
Yes, sir.
I've been listening to y'all for a little bit, so.
Yeah, well, all right, then just like Chris was saying, we'll get right into it, right? We're talking about the 50th season. We're talking about David just now. You were also able to experience David and experience like just that era of the Spurs. How was that? What was the feeling when you were watching that kind of stuff growing up?
Yeah, so I mean, and it's great. I remember going to the Alamo Dome, back in the day, watching all these guys. So it's awesome that they're gonna. I was listening to y'all saying they're gonna throw the segments in. I'm very excited to see what they're gonna talk about, who they're gonna interview, what they got to say. But I was just talking with Celeste like a little while ago. Like we got tickets to the Alamo Dome game, so I get to take my son, Jackson, to go see the Spurs play in the Alamo Dome like I used to back in the day. So I was like, man, that's gonna be sweet. So I'm looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to the season. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And then I mean, like how was to throw it back into David, right? What was like the feeling that you get when you see David on the court?
Well, it's I guess back in the day, you kind of just appreciate him then and now, but then and there. But I always think like, man, I wish I could see David play with like in today's. I feel like he was before his time. That dude was like a freak of nature. He was. I mean, y'all, you see the pictures. You see how fast he was. You see how strong he was. Like he could dribble, he could shoot. Like I feel like David Robinson would dominate today's game. So it was awesome to see him dominate. Back then. So it was awesome.
For sure. I guess I would definitely agree with that in the sense that if David played against Anthony Davis, it'd be no contest.
Barbecue chicken.
It would be barbecue chicken. I know Chris was saying he doesn't want to throw shade this early, but I don't think
he was a lefty like Chris too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's there's no late time to throw shade at Lakers. So that's the thing
Never
that
too
I
early.
want to start off.
Never too early.
But Chris, how was growing up watching David? What were some great moments for you, man?
Well, I mean, like we were coming up still pretty young during like the 03. So I mean, like we checked in when he was the vet, right? And he is the anchor, and he was just the face and the heart of the community of San Antonio at that time for at least through my eyes, right? And then I think his military background and all that kind of stuff, it kept going. Like you felt that influence of like all of that kind of stuff, and that connection between like the military and the Spurs, like all the way until I don't know the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of if you can think about that vibe and some of the negativity, right? Like the camo Spurs jerseys or something, right? But that vibe, like that's kind of the energy he was bringing. No. I'm just saying, like, but that was some of the energy he was bringing at the time that I was coming up when I was young. So same with Josh. Like, it would have been great to have seen him in his prime, and even back then, like, it was harder to. You couldn't just go on YouTube and watch David Robinson play in 1995. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now you can do. You can find videos and do all that kind of stuff. So it's been great to go backwards, but I'm at the age where I did have to kind of go backwards a little bit for David. So
for sure. Juan, do you have any moments or anything that you can think of when it comes to David, like things that kind of stayed close to you and what not being able to watch him as growing up, but able to like appreciate what his greatness was from that.
Yeah, so I was only 5 in 2003 when he retired.
Yeah.
So like being able to, I guess, be around, like I have certain memories of like the family celebrating, maybe like a championship like that. But like what Chris has said and Josh, like David's impact around the Spurs to this day, like has not gone unnoticed to somebody like me who didn't really get to experience him as a player, and like seeing him still in the community. I would get hyped when they would show him in the stands, watching the game. And I would just be like, oh my gosh, like that's David Robinson, and like you would see the highlights. And like, obviously for me, like I was watching Tim Duncan. So like they would always talk about like Tim Duncan's mentor, and Tim Duncan always had such high praise and like he loved him, and it just, every time I would see David, I was like that in my mind, like a lot of people say like David helped instill that culture that Tim Duncan just continued.
Yeah.
And I feel like to this day, it's still there. David still run the organization. He still offers a lot of insight and just
Yeah, and it's awesome that we get to see he gets to be one of those guys because of his career and his dream team influence and all that. He gets included in a lot of the like the NBA stuff. He gets to be an ambassador for us on the bigger stage still to this day. And so like even last year, seeing him, getting to talk about DeJounte Murray and it's like the way that he speaks. It's like, God, you just want to be around that energy, right? So like. Yeah, I'm fortunate, or we're fortunate that we still get to see him fairly often. At least, as a retired player, you still get to see him fairly often.
And I'm pretty sure Jake was born literally after David had already retired. In the summer 2003, Jake was born, so he completely missed David's
That is true. That is true. I was born because NBA Finals happened in June. I assume that back in 2003 that it's still close to the same time frame, right? That you're getting an NBA Finals in May/June, and I was born in July. So I was born a month after David retired.
Yeah, but that's like the celebration season. So like all the good energy is still in the air. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
or
I
he
think,
saw you coming, and he was like, "I'm
do we go honking?
he saw you coming.
Technically, Jake went honking in 03.
oh,
right.
there we go."
Because I was just born.
Yeah.
No, you were in the womb.
belly.
You were
In
in
the
the womb, but you were there.
Okay.
Yeah, you were
Yes,
there.
yes, I was there. I was celebrating. But yeah, I mean, just like Juan was saying, I was born after David's whole career, so I didn't really get to watch, or I didn't get to experience anything about David. But just like Manu, you grow up as a lefty, and I'm sure Chris can attest to this. You grow up as a lefty, and you just gravitate yourself towards the lefties. You just start seeing like, oh, these are the guys who are, they have like the same little things that I would kind of do as a lefty.
Tendencies,
and
huh?
yeah, exactly, the same little tendencies, right? Except for I'm not, jumping up and throwing it down like David would. But
yeah, I would block Shaq just like that too.
exactly, right? No, so I mean, you grow up and you're just like, well, what can I do that's what lefties would do, what a right-handed person won't do, what a lefty would do. And David certainly had a lot of those things that I grew up and I was just like, man, I want to be just like that. I want to be able to throw it down over all of my brothers, just like how David would. But let's just say that it just didn't turn out that way. But it's all right. It's all right. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going into the 50th season, guys, and we know what our team looks like. We understand that it's not exactly the most entertaining, the most exciting. We just traded away our all-star player this last offseason. There's a lot of kind of questions as to who's going to take this next step for us, right? And so I want to hear what your season predictions are on our quote-unquote MVP, our MIP, our Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year. I think last year we could pretty much give DeJounte Murray MVP, MIP, like right off the bat. We knew that he was going to be the best player. We knew that he was going to take an expanded role. He was going to be the most improved. This year, it's an open playing field. We don't know who the MVP is going to be. We don't know who the MIP is going to be. There's only a small selection for Rookie of the Year. And there could be anybody off the bench that could become our sixth man of the year. So I wanna hear from you guys who y'all think your MVP would be this year. Josh, I'm gonna let you start this off.
Dude, I feel like in previous seasons I was like the most like optimistic. I was like I don't know, man. I'm super down this year. I'm in the slumps. I don't even know what to say really. But
it feels like,
as far as our players go, like MVP, I'm gonna go Devin or Primo. Like it's kind of hard because I want to put Primo as the most improved because we really didn't get to see much of him. So I think he has a chance to, to go back to back if he plays. I think he should be starting. I know Jake, you're on the Trey Jones, Trey Jones train. You want him to be starting, but to me, if he's our point guard of the future, I mean, it's not like we're playing for a championship now. It's not like he has much to lose. Like, put him in that role if that's what you want his role to be. Like, so that's how I feel about Primo this year. As far as rookie, I'm gonna go Blake. I think Sohan's gonna be like, I think he's just gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be like have a lot of highs and lows. I think he's gonna be pretty like consistent all year. I think Blake's gonna have some. You're gonna be like, dang, there's gonna
like,
be some games where
flashier
he's gonna,
moments.
yeah, like so that's why I'm gonna go with Blake with the rookie. As far as six man, it's hard, like I said, because Primo might be in that as well. You know what I mean? No telling what Pop's gonna do with these lineups. But yeah, so that's what I got for the first three at least. Six man, I couldn't tell you right now. I would like to see what our lineups are gonna be, and I guess I'll chime in on that one later.
So I guess you don't think Keldon like has a chance at all to be like the MVP for the team?
Well, like I'm kind of like looking. Keldon is established to me. He's like the one piece we have established. So I'm kind of going what we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could say Keldon, and it's I'm talking about Keldon like he's a 10-year vet, and he's not. But it just feels like it this year. Like,
yeah,
he's like the old man on the team. He's like a baby still.
Well, I guess I get that, like, because whatever perspective you're going into this season with, it's like whoever like takes a leap or like could do something like that. Yeah, you could be like, all right, this is what we needed this year. I totally get that, because I was gonna say it feels like the easy answer for MVP is Keldon.
Because Keldon's gonna do his thing, but I feel like we know that. Like,
yeah,
I don't, you know what I mean? Like Jacob said, well, last year we didn't have DeJounte was everything, and we knew it. Like that, I feel like that's the same way with Keldon this year.
But if we asked the question last year, who will be the Spurs MVP? Would you skip past DeJounte Murray because we know he's going to be the MVP?
Well, no, I'm just
you would say DeJounte.
So
if you think that Keldon's going to be the steady one and probably the most valuable piece because he is that linchpin, then maybe he's the MVP.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's going to be the best player. He's the best player on our team right now is Keldon Johnson, obviously. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Valuable though, like that's the best player versus valuable discussion. Like who's gonna? I get that, like kind of like from that kind of perspective of like, you know who your best player is, but if somebody else shows up is more valuable, helps the team kind of click a little bit more than we thought, then like. Keldon's a constant, and it's when this guy stepped up and did something. I could see that because that was my whole thing. It's like it's easy to just say, all right, Keldon's going to be our MVP this year because he's going to be our best player, but I'm like kind of iffy on. Like I love Keldon. I think like his energy, he's by far our best player, and he looks so comfortable in those 2 games he came back. It was 2, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And it just like everything looks so easy for him, and it looked like he was even like more comfortable just driving to the basket and scoring, like without having to bulldoze somebody.
I feel like he was more comfortable shooting the ball whenever he would catch the balls behind the screens and just like stop and take those 3 balls. He wasn't hitting no kind of rim.
My only concern about Keldon is he a type of player to elevate like his teammates around him, or is he basically kind of like a 3-level scorer? And like that's fine if that's who he is. It works better when you have an all-star point guard like DeJounte Murray on your team. But like, is Keldon going to be able to take a step to elevate, to bring his team like together, like in certain situations, like if the clock's running out and he has the ball in his hands, yeah, like can you get a bucket, but can you also make the play for somebody else? And that's kind of where I am, and that's kind of why I agree with like the MVP is like if somebody else can take that step to do those type of things to help others around him successful, make the team more successful, that's kind of who I'll be leaning to. But having said all that, I'm going with Keldon Johnson for my MVP.
I mean, so I mean, to kind of go off what you were saying of like, how can he elevate, or will he, or whatever? He was saying, I think it was the post game after the last preseason game, and he was saying like, I want to lead by example on the defensive end of the floor, and that's probably the key of like that's how we are all gonna, or they are all gonna elevate each other, is to commit to being a good defensive team and let that feed into their offense, because their offense is probably going to be pretty free flowing this year. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, there are going to be moments where he has to be the guy where everything slows down, the ball's in his hand. And then it's what are you doing in that moment? But I think it's if we can start on the defensive end, which is kind of what he was saying, though. So, like, I don't know. I think that that would be where my vote goes to for MVP, just because any value we're going to get is going to be from those linchpins. You know what I mean? Jakob, same thing. You know what I mean? Obviously in a way different role, but his value is very high. Jakob is probably one of the most valuable players that we have because of how he's going to hold and tie everything together. So I would still go with KJ though, because his responsibilities are just going to be higher overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before I get into my MVP, I just want Josh to show his mug again. It was
My mug?
I've already had to mute my mic twice because when he pulls it up, it makes me laugh.
It was a pretty good little morning mug to use. I enjoyed seeing that the first time. But yeah, as for my MVP, I like y'all are like making great points, and honestly, I want to piggyback off of what Juan was saying when it comes to just who's gonna like in a sense do it all, right?
But as the president of the Devin Vassell fan club.
As the president of the Developmental fan club, I have to say that my MVP is the one, the only, Devin Vassell. I think that he's going to take a huge leap this year. I think that this is the year that like we're already seeing that he's not afraid to take these like shot creating and in the midi, like off the dribble type of shots. And honestly, I know that there's going to be some days where we're going to look at that and we're going to be like, why is Devin doing this? I already have that feeling where I'm like, yo, just stop. But there are going to be those days where he's going to be on it, and they like through the season, we're going to see him be able to progress and become more comfortable and then just become more efficient in like his shot selection and stuff like that. And we've already we've already seen him have like this ability to where coming off of the dribble in the shot creating, when people are closing in on him, he has this knack for playmaking where it's not like the most flashy thing, but in coming off of a jumper, he's able to make that next outlook to where there's a wide open KJ in the corner. And so I think that he's going to be elevating the team even more by the fact that he's going to be a better shot creator this year. Not to mention the fact that I feel like his defense, one, it has to, right? It has to take this next step to where we can kind of rely on him to be, hey, you got to defend the best player on the court in their backcourt every day, every night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where we're gonna be relying on Devin to be that person. But two, I'm thinking that that's where it's gonna lead him. That he is going to become a way better defender this year, and that's gonna, again, just like y'all were saying with KJ and being a defensive leader, it's going to elevate the team. We're going to see Devin really, really show out to become, in my opinion, the MVP of our team.
Yeah, and really, Devin and Keldon, man, they're it's like mirror image of what their responsibilities are going to be, where they can affect the team. So like, it's 1A and 1B really, but it's gonna be great to see both.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the way I see it is like, Keldon is taking DeJounte's spot, and Devin should be taking Keldon's spot. Keldon had a good leap last year as well, and that's kind of what I'm expecting.
You're talking about in terms of their responsibilities and roles getting bigger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Keldon, I say Keldon was our number 2 last year, right? As it all goes, and I expect Devin to take a leap, the same, that year 3 leap. He, like Jake said, he has to, like, at this point, like that guy has to start like showing at least what Keldon did. And I think he will. I think he can. but I don't know if I can quite expect him to make I don't know if Jake, if you're suggesting he's going to take a whole leap over Keldon and then would be our best player on our team this year. I don't know if I'm not going to put that on him, because then if it doesn't happen,
I
I
think
don't want to feel bad.
I think the faith that I have is that Devin just takes a big enough leap to where, just like Chris was saying, it's 1A, 1B. It doesn't have to be completely better than Keldon. On some nights, Keldon's going to be your best player on the court, and on some nights, Devin's going to be the best player on your court. But I just have the feeling that Devin's going to be good enough. He's going to take that leap to where he is going to be on that same playing field as Keldon, compared to kind of what you're saying, where it's Keldon right here, Devin right here. I want it to be right at the same level.
That's exactly where it's going to be. It's going to be Keldon, Devin.
Yeah.
I feel like you're talking Keldon's not getting better. Keldon's getting better as well.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Keldon's going to take a leap this year.
Keldon's taking, and Devin's
expecting Devin to double that.
I was saying that I think Devin can take a good enough leap, considering the position that he's in, where he's at with the offense and kind of the role that we have for him. It's honestly something that I think that he can do. We see a lot of players on very bad teams, on other teams, right? We see these young players on very bad teams, just be able to just shot chuck for however many shots they want, and no one cares. You know what I mean? And you're just well, they're gonna get better or whatever, and they just take these incremental jumps. Well, I think our team's different in the manner that we do have a system ready for these guys to progress even faster than what those guys that can shot chuck.
I think that was true maybe last year, the year before. I think we're in that same position. They're going to be chunking up shots left and right. We have nobody. We're in the same spot as them at the bottom of the pack. We're going to let them do what they do, because if it causes us to lose the game, then
we're not going to really. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And I think that the position that those other guys were in, our guys are now in that position. Okay, so if Devin's probably going to take stupid shots more.
I hope he takes 20 shots a game.
Yeah, that's the point that I'm getting at, though, is that this is something that we as Spurs fans haven't really seen in years, in a long, long time. So it's it's definitely something that because of this opportunity, because of something like this coming up, to where it's well, it is such an open playing field for anybody to take advantage of. I think Devin can be that person that takes the most advantage of it. You know what I mean? Where, because it's not necessarily as closed, this is your role, this is your role, this is your role, this is your role. He's going to be able to expand more, because we're going to have a lot more leniency. We're going to be able to just let him do what he wants game to game. And I think that it's going to make him improve. It's going to make him better. We're not going to see him eventually those games where he's shooting 20 shots on 28% shooting or whatever, and we're Jesus, Devin, later in the year we're going to start seeing it come up to 38, 39%. We're going to be that was a great game, whatever, right? He was able to do some good shooting at that point. So that's my point, is that I just think Devin's going to be able to take advantage of where we're at and be able to take a big enough leap to be on that same playing field. That's just me, though. That's just me for the MVP.
Right. So you're saying he's going to take a huge leap to be your MVP. So what does that mean for your MIP?
So my MIP, I think we'd all know that it would be Devin Vassell for me. Right. It's obviously going to be Devin as the most improved, because he's going to take that big jump. He's going to become. I honestly think that it's everybody's year 2 to year 3 leap. That jump right there is the one that gets people, on the map. That shows people, oh, this guy's got it. This guy is, he really can be something in the league. And I feel like we've seen that with DeJounte. We've seen that with Derek. We saw it with KJ last year. This is it for Devin. This is his year 2 to year 3 leap that he's going to show up. He's going to take that next level. So I think Devin is going to be our MIP. My honorable mention is going to be Trey Jones, who's taken his second year 2 to year 3 leap. And I think that he's going to take control of this offense and put up 20 assists a game. So that's just how I feel.
Well, I think it's a toss-up mainly between Devin and I'm going with my own homer, I'm going with Josh Primo, the number 11. And like third, like dark horse MIP would be Keldon, because he might have the same type of jump that DeJounte did. And if he becomes like an all-star or like in that discussion, I think that's like considerable for like the biggest improvement on the team.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning more towards Josh Primo in the sense of pretty much those same arguments you were saying for Devin. I think he's going to take every shot he can, especially if he's coming off the bench. Watching him in these last 2 games in the preseason, he looks like, I wouldn't say more like deliberate with his moves, but he's taking every shot he could, and he's trying to pass. He's made a lot of boneheaded turnovers that like have really frustrated me, and it's like I want him to be a point guard, not like a scoring guard. I want him to be a point guard for us. But as far as like his scoring this year, especially if he's that 6-man role, I see Primo taking plenty of shots just along the line Jake was arguing for Devin, like just more opportunity to just let it fly. And he's looked more comfortable scoring, going to the basket. I know he went against the freaking Utah Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder, also 2 bottom of the barrel teams. And
that's
like,
why I'm not getting high on none of our guys. I know Jake was talking about Devin, but I'm like, well, I want them to play somebody first.
It's going to be a long season, and we're going to run into good teams, and everybody's going to, like, all these young guys are going to look rough. Yeah. And I think like Primo's going to just have plenty of opportunity. So to me, that kind of puts him up there like in the running for like the lead for MIP.
Yeah, that's where my head's at too. And it's a caveat for everything. I mean, like the whole year, we're looking for all of the good nuggets that are going to be mixed in with a lot of growing pains, right? So everybody's going to look bad at some point, even Keldon Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, it's what are we going to see that hints at what we can be later on? That's kind of what we're going to be looking for. But same thing for my like MIP would be like I would say Josh Primo, kind of like how Juan was saying. Keldon's going to step into that role responsibility upgrade where DeJounte was occupying. Keldon's going to move into where KJ was at. And so who moves into like that Devin's role from last year? Josh Primo is that guy, right? Whereas, and even beyond that, I think he's going to be able to have a bigger leap than Vassell had in his second year, just because of the amount of opportunity, like Juan was saying, how much opportunity he's going to get. Devin didn't get as much opportunity last year as Primo is going to get this year. And then like what Juan is saying, he looks like he's going to go out there and just take every shot when he goes out for the second unit, which is where I know we're going to talk about like our preferred depth chart and stuff like that a little bit later. But that's where I think that he's going to or at least in my head, that's where I would want him to be, because again, he just gets the free reign. You know what I mean? And I understand what Josh was saying about like if eventually you want him to be your starter, just make him your starter now. But again, we can keep that going a little later. But yeah, for sure, I would say most improved. I think Primo's just going to have all the opportunity.
Yeah, and Josh, you did say that Primo was your MIP, right?
Yeah, I'll go Primo.
Yeah, so I mean, was there anything that you wanted to add to what they were saying?
No, not really. It's kind of I'm enjoying listening to y'all dudes. I kind of went like all of them in a row, like bam, 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 bam.
Nah, you're good. Yeah, so I mean, you know, we have our kind of consensus that Primo is your guys' MIP. For me, I already said that just because of the leap that Devin's taken, that he's my MIP.
Still, the consensus is Primo.
Because I think, I mean, like, you're not wrong to say that the opportunity that Josh has, or that Primo has on that bench is going to be crazy. And I'm gonna skip over Rookie of the Year to go to 6-Man of the Year, right? I'm gonna go to 6-Man of the Year because for me it is Primo. Primo is our 6-Man of the Year. Primo is going to have that opportunity. I'm not gonna hash out what y'all were just saying, because everything that y'all were just saying for most improved is what I feel for 6-Man of the Year. Moreover, I'm going to go to my honorable mention of Josh Richardson for however long he's on the team.
He won't be there that long.
Because, yeah, like I don't think he'll be here for the whole season or whatever. He probably won't even be here till trade deadline. But Josh Richardson plays his role to a T, and I think it makes everybody else's job easier when you have such a reliable three-point shooter and defensive player coming off the bench like that. Where,
six man of the month.
Sixth man of the month, Josh Richardson. Exactly. So I just want to shout out Josh Richardson because I mean, our vets we do have young guys, and we're going to be focusing on the young guys for the most part. For 99% of the time, we're going to be looking at all the young guys on the team. But there isn't anything wrong with shouting out our veterans in Josh Richardson. If Doug is out there, shooting threes like crazy at a good efficient rate, and Yak's always been the freaking greatest defensive player ever. So, like we. I just want to shout out Josh Richardson because I think that he can, depending on however long he is here, he's going to be able to help alleviate the second unit and be a solid contributor for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
six man of the year. I don't need to add much more. I would just say Primo for all the reasons we said. And then last thing I'll say on him is he looked mighty DeMar DeRozan like in that last game, like the way he was holding his ball and ripping it right into his chill, ripping right into the finish, and I don't know, just like it looked like you could see a lot of that footwork and handwork and stuff like that.
Remember how like DeMar would make plays for everybody. He would move so slow. And the plays would just develop, and he would make the right pass. That's exactly how I feel Keldon's going to be. How y'all kept talking about his playmaking ability. I'm like, Keldon does the same thing. When he rips through, I mean, if he's not shooting the three ball, which he has a way better three ball than DeMar has ever had, like when he has defenders flying at him and he could put the ball down, and then he's also a threat, at the basket. Like I think he's smart enough to make those plays. Like Keldon's going to have a good year. I'm just glad you said that.
I hope so.
The DeMar.
Well, and how Juan was saying about like not wanting Primo to be a scoring guard, I think that that's where his point guard opportunities are going to show up. Is just in his smoothness and getting to his spots creates opportunity to give other people the ball.
Yeah, I'll be quick too with mine because it does tie in with like the whole depth chart stuff. But I'm going to say Trey Jones is our sixth man of the year because I think Primo's going to start the year off the bench, and I think he'll show enough, like, or maybe like get hot or something like that, where he's like proven like I can go be in the starting lineup and be like a playmaker because I want him to be a point guard. I want him to facilitate. Yeah, like in a perfect world, just let him take every shot. I don't even know if that's the perfect world. Just let him take every shot off the bench, but like in my dream scenario, Primo is making plays for all those other guys while also being like that silky smooth type of like, I guess, playmaker and scorer. And so then that, like, I think Trey Jones would be the perfect like six man off the bench, and he could fit in with any lineup and facilitate. And honestly, I think I saw him hit like a pull up three off a pick and roll during one of these games. If he can add that to his shot, Trey Jones will fit in any lineup we roll out there. So like I'm banking on the fact that Primo's going to be starting at some point.
He is.
And you're saying about like eventually Trey it would move down or whatever. Like Trey Jones, if he was in that starting role, the same way that it felt like Primo was very aggressive in taking those opportunities, Trey doesn't really have a lot of fear, and and it feels like this year he's going to be willing to take a lot more shots. So like he could fit into that six-man role and still have tons of opportunity as well. You know what I mean? So
I could see him averaging 10 and 10, like even as like a bench player, like coming off the bench. 10 assists a game.
For sure.
Josh, you're six.
That's a lot of dimes. That's a lot of dimes for a bench player.
I think he's a playmaker.
Josh already said that he would withhold his six man until he actually sees in writing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm the same way as Juan. I don't think that Trey Jones is going to start the year. I mean, I think he's going to start, but I don't think
we're gonna ask the question of what your depth chart would look like, and then when we do that, then you can say in that mind frame who your six man would be, so we can hear. But like at the end of the show, we can hear you'd say that.
Yeah, well, then we'll get through this rookie of the year, and then we'll go right into the depth chart, right? So, who do you think your rookie of the year is going to be? Josh, you already.
Yeah, I said Blake. I feel like it's one of two. So
one of two. You don't think Malachi has a chance to?
No, I think that Malachi is kind of the odd man out because we have Devin and we have as far as I don't know how like his position. I feel like just
Yes.
I'm kind of lowering my expectations on him because his position I think he has a lot of guys ahead of him.
Because
Mhm.
if Josh and Doug are still on the team all the way till
then
February,
he doesn't have much PT. Not because he's not because he. I mean, I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to play over either one of those guys this year.
lot of Austin time for him and Blake, I think.
For Malachi and Blake, yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of like agree. Like it's hard not to see like Blake's aggressiveness, like the flash he offers, and it's like he can be so exciting, and he's gonna make plays happen. Just because of his burst, his willingness to just go full force to the rim, kind of like Keldon without being like big body. Just like he's going to the basket, and you're gonna foul him. Or sometimes I don't remember, like during the summer league, he got blocked a lot at the rim. He's gonna figure that out, just like getting used to the speed of the game. But it might not be the sexy pick. I'm going to go Jeremy because we haven't had like a rookie start or like be this featured in a long time. And I'm not going to like look at the box score when it comes to his impact, especially like early on. I don't think like Blake or Malachi will be able to offer up bigger stats than Blake would. And Blake's probably, than Jeremy would. And Jeremy's probably going to average 4 points and 4 rebounds a game this year. And like, I just think he's going to show a lot of like defensive potential and flash. And I truly believe like we can mold him into that Draymond Green type of role without like punching your teammates and stuff. I think he can be up there and like be a versatile defender. And I've seen him make the right passes, like on offense, like not sticking the ball in his hands too long. Or now, I will say every time Blake gets like I keep saying Blake, every time Jeremy gets a pass thrown to him, it's like he has brick hands. They just like fall right out of his hands, and it's just like,
Hey, Yak was like that for a little bit.
well, yeah, we just get him like I don't know if they have jug machines like the football players do. Just like get him in front of a thing. It's just a basketball just shooting towards him. Just catch like 1,000 passes a day or something. But I'm going with Jeremy because he's gonna be consistent. I think Josh, you said that right. He'll be there. He'll be consistent. Yeah. But
I don't think he's gonna be.
I'll stick with that because I don't think any of them are gonna put up big numbers this year. So I'll go with Jeremy.
Jeremy, watching Jeremy. I'm sorry, like just watching Jeremy. It's like, man. And this doesn't have anything to do with like losing chip or whatever, but I just cannot. Whenever he shoots the ball, I'm just like, oh, don't do it, man. It just sometimes I know, like yes, but god dang, I don't know. I guess this year should shoot away.
At the end of the Thunder game, there was a like nice little outlook to Jeremy. It happened to be a 2, but it was
that was pretty clutch too.
It was a clutch shot,
a funky shot. I'm just like, man, I can't do it.
No, I'll piggyback off of Juan.
It's Draymond Green. At least it's not that bad.
It's not nearly as ugly as Draymond's shot, but there's so much shooters around him. There's so much versatility that I think Jeremy adds to an offense or to a defense especially, but to an offense as well, right? And there's like things where just like you're saying, like we kind of want him to be Draymond Green. Like I would love to see Jeremy turn into Draymond Green for us. Like literally, there was like the one play where Trey Jones had like this, like he like drove in, he had this crazy pass out to Jeremy in the corner, and Jeremy like caught it and like kind of like it felt like a volleyball pass in a sense where he like as soon as he caught it, he like touched it over to Keldon, and Keldon shot a wide open 3, and it just like happened in such like a quick motion where it was like I wasn't even expecting the first pass from Trey Jones. And then the second pass from Jeremy, like right away to where it was like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff that he adds to this offense where he just has like this knack of like understanding the like a flow of a game. You know what I mean? And so
I agree.
So that's where I would kind of say that he's going to be rookie of the year pretty much because he's going to have like you're going to see that playmaking show up one night. His blocks, like the blocks that we've seen in preseason have been crazy. So he has that defensive versatility. I think at the moment you're not trying to play him against smaller guards or anything like that, but eventually, he starts to grow, he starts to become more attuned to the game and stuff. And I would love to see him be a guy that can guard 1 through 4 on any night, a 5 in certain possessions.
He could guard 3-4 right now.
He can guard 3-4 right now. He can guard wings right now. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like he can play in and out in terms of defense, but Give him a year, give him 2 years, and eventually I want him to be on that same level of a Bam, of like, I mean, Giannis is crazy, but like the guys that can guard pretty much
Well,
1 through 5 on any
that-
night.
yeah, I mean, just like in any situation, if you have to switch, you feel comfortable with him.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So that's how I feel with him in terms of his future, and that's why I think that we're gonna see
wait, so you're
spurts of
basing
that.
your rookie of the year pick on the future?
No. I'm saying that we're gonna see. I guess
See, we're gonna see the seeds of all that this year.
there you go. That's what I thank you,
Okay.
Chris.
Yeah.
So that's why he's my rookie of the year pick.
Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah.
do you
I
have
agree.
a different rookie of the year?
No, I don't have a different one. I would say for the same reasons that you guys said. I want him to win Rookie of the Year based off of his all-around contributions. I would love for him to have a 4-4-4 kind of year. You know what I mean? Or theoretically, I would want it to be a little bit more. But I mean, I watched him get 4 points off of 2 real quick, easy putbacks, a couple of games ago, and so it's like it feels like he's just going to provide those opportunities on the offensive end in terms of scoring second chance points, doing all the stuff that Jake was saying about being kind of like how Jakob is like a pivot man, and he just knows how to keep the ball moving to the other side and then move to a new spot and this and that. I feel like he's going to be able to do a lot of what not that it took Jakob a couple years to develop into that, but just like what we're seeing a lot from him now and what we rely on him. I think Jeremy's going to get to that point kind of quick because he's just going to be out there all the time. So I'm excited to see him. We're gonna need those things as much as we're leaning on Keldon and Devin and Josh to bring the offense, and then shooting from our vets and blah blah for however long. We're gonna need those other guys on the defensive end, on the flow part of the offense, on the glue guys. So as a rookie, if he can be that already, that'd be awesome. For
sure. So those are the picks that we got for our MVP, MIP. We did 6 man of the year and then rookie of the year. I honestly I think we understand that there's a lot to be seen with these guys. That there's going to be a lot of growth happening throughout the season. But I think it's exciting because the way that we all had our picks, there wasn't necessarily like one specific reason as to why Keldon was our MVP, one specific reason as why Josh Primo was the MIP kind of thing, So that's exciting to see for our guys this year because there's going to be a lot for us to grow on and watch throughout the season. But it goes on to our next topic, which we kind of have poked in here and there, which is our roster predictions. So one thing's first is that we still have one more roster spot we're still one roster spot over. We need to cut one person. Yesterday we cut Chris. How do you say his name?
Alize Johnson.
Alize Johnson. We just cut him, or we waived him. Just
that was
yesterday.
Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so then that puts us at I believe 18 players. So we need to cut one more guaranteed contract in order to have 15 plus our two-way contracts, and then we'll be getting into our depth chart. So guys, we've been kind of watching a little bit of preseason. I feel like there's one person for me that I haven't really seen too much that makes me think that they're gonna get waived. But who do y'all think's getting this cut? Who's getting cut off the roster?
Who's the second two-way guy other than Barlow?
I want to say that it's is it not?
Is it
Jordan
Hall? Is it Hall?
Is it not Jordan Hall?
Okay.
Who do y'all think is getting that last cut though? Because
Are you gonna ask who do we think or who do we want?
But both.
Both, right? Because I mean, whoever you think is probably whoever you want, right?
I'm gonna say Joe
No,
Weezy.
I was gonna say because I want to cut Romeo Langford.
Oh,
I want to cut Romeo
but you
Langford.
think Joe's getting cut?
But I think Joe's gonna get cut.
Okay. So why?
I want to cut Langford because I feel like everybody needs shooting. Like everybody needs shooting, and as far as teams like that are going to be playing for a championship, they're going to need shooting. And around the trade deadline, people make trades. They might give us something
second round
cash,
pick or
second
something.
round.
You're
I'll
saying
get Joe out
Wieskamp-
in.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're gonna want, like everybody does. We saw people they came and got Davis from us, I mean, we did Davis for whatever, but like people are trading for him now, like I feel like they just need shooting. So I think I would like to keep him to move him, if that makes sense, like, and Romeo, the same way I said that Malachi is not going to get playing time is the same way I feel about Romeo. He's just going to be sitting there anyways. And I don't think somebody's going to want Romeo that can't stay healthy for nothing. Like, so that's where I would, that's where my mind is. I'd rather keep Joe to move Joe than to keep Romeo and just have him sitting there for all season.
That's a fair point. I think I don't think we'd be able to move Joe this year just because I don't think he'd get the playing time. I don't think he'd really show like teams that like they'd
to
want
me
him.
like if I look out Miami, like if Duncan Robinson's out there running around shooting the ball, I think Joe could do the same. Not for us. I don't want him out there for us, but somebody else.
I get that, but I just don't think that teams would be looking towards Joe in comparison. Like just because, yeah, like I mean, we're literally talking about who's getting the last roster spot. That means that pretty much if Joe stays on the team, then he's 15th on the roster. So it's not,
But also think a couple months down the road, you add injuries to the mix, and maybe somebody needs a 12-man or 11-man to, you know what I'm saying, or a 10-man at the best, and then maybe he's a candidate for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Like I wouldn't necessarily. I don't think that's enough reason for me to keep Joe over Romeo. I think I would want to have that defensive minded guard in Romeo. And I think just kind of how like you're saying, Chris, like I mean, what happens if we have injuries? I wouldn't want to play Joe Wieskamp 28 minutes. I'd rather play Romeo Langford 28 minutes.
Yeah, no, but Romeo and I think like then Malachi then our rookies come in. Like we're not going to keep Joe.
But
like if somebody goes down or whatever, I just think that's more opportunities for our young guys that we're going to move forward with. Like
of course,
like, I wouldn't play
that.
Romeo or Joe, but I would rather move. I think that if you would be able to move one of them, it would be Joe over Romeo. That's just how I feel. I don't know.
I think I get that. Juan, do you have anything to add?
I think you get rid of Joe, and because I think Romeo has like higher upside, but I mean you can't argue that neither one of them probably have like a chance to be on this team long term because of how many young pieces we already have. And so when you you look at it like that, you kind of feel bad for both of them because they're just sitting at the end of a bench like of a team that doesn't really got like a future for them. But I don't know, from what I've seen from Joe, I don't know how long it took Davis to like develop or anything like that, but I just feel so bad for Joe because he's supposed to be a 3-point specialist, and every time he comes in, I don't think he ever hits a three. And they always look like they're clanking off the like back iron and everything like that. It's rough. I just feel like Joe doesn't offer anything defensively, and he can't hit the 3-ball, and it's a little rough. And I feel bad.
It's like in Austin. In Austin, he looks good, like in his role.
Well,
So
I agree with Josh where it's like, yeah, if he's just like another 3-point shooter and some other team like gets like comes like needs one, like, but like, is he at that point now, like in his career that like people are gonna want him, like Davis was? Davis was like had already been on our team for a couple years.
I think it's teams that are like, it's because he's cheap. Like, they don't got to go get a Josh Richardson that can shoot the ball that they're gonna be paying him whatever. Like they won't give him they'll get him for a mil and he's done, after this year. I mean,
like I could see him being like
for the contending teams, like a Milwaukee.
Yeah, I could see him being like a trade filler, like Jock Lando was, like just kind of like if some team trades for Josh Richardson and then you throw in Joe Wieskamp and get like maybe a 2nd-round pick or something. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what you guys are saying is he could be a part of a trade versus just what can you get for Joe straight up. It doesn't have to be that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can understand that. I think I'd understand that a little bit more rather than just what can we get for Joe. But I mean, either way, I think we all see that whoever does end up getting this last cut, they're probably 15th man on the roster. That shouldn't change your depth chart at all, right? Like if Romeo Langford's on this team, Romeo's not getting PT over Malachi. If Joe Wieskamp's here, he's not getting PT over Malachi. Yeah. So what does your depth chart look like? What's your starting 5? Who's your backups? Well, Chris, I'll let you start this off.
Let me, just for the sake of my brain, just write it down so I see it right in front of me.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, just to start off right off the top, I want Trey Jones to be the starter. And do you want to just run down the names and then we'll give our justifications later?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, I will say Trey, Devin at the 2, KJ at the 3, Jeremy Sohan at the 4, Porto at the 5.
Right. Juan, what's your starting 5?
Well, I guess to start the year, I'm okay with that same exact lineup with Trey at the 1. And yeah, we'll go into the justifications later. And then off the bench, in my perfect world, I would never want to see Keita Bates-Diop play again. And you have Primo, and then I'll take Malachi, or like Primo, Blake, Malachi, and then I like Isaiah Roby and like what he can offer, like his versatility. And then at the 5, Zach Collins is fine. I guess it's this like bench unit, but that's what I would do because like we were saying, like what Josh has been saying, like this is a young team. I don't really want to see like Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott and Keita Bates playing in front of these young guys who can get burned. But knowing Pop, they are going to play, and the young guys are going to Austin, and Jeremy's going to be the only young guy. But that's my line. Those are my lineups that I would prefer, that I would want.
Okay, Josh.
Yeah, I'm going Primo. I like that. Would my ideal starting 5 would be Primo, Devin, KJ, Jeremy, Yuck, and then off the bench I'm coming Trey, like 6-man. I would go Trey.
Yeah, sure.
Like that's would be me. And then like obviously exactly what Juan said, the young guys are not going to play. It's going to be Josh and Doug and Zach, and we'll see what we do with our center. Like Keita. Yeah, I don't know.
I love Keita too. Like Keita does everything right. He's a professional. It's just at this point, like it feels like he's just blocking minutes, like from other guys getting time. I want to see Isaiah Roby get more time and run with this team, so we could try to extend him, like get this guy like part of this core for a little bit. But it's not going to happen if Keita's taking Euro steps from the 3-point line and doing like spin moves and turning the ball over.
Well, Chris, do you have like a different depth chart? I guess like is your depth or like your bench different?
Yeah,
from what
let me see. So like, if we're just gonna say them again, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go back and kind of justify any of these or any or whatever, but and most of our differences are gonna come on the bench. But I would have 6-man be or I want to say mine this way because first of all I don't really buy into the notion of positionless basketball still. I mean, I just don't. Primo occupies our backup point guard position. I would like to split that 2 spot between Malachi and Blake and give them opportunities, depending on who's hot, depending on who's playing well, blah, blah, blah. For now, I mean, I want Jay Rich and or Doug to occupy that 3 spot on the bench. I think you do need to have some veteran presence out there to steady a young group on the bench. Doug can do that. Jay Rich can do that in small spurts. I like Doug saying that he would like to take a bench role with us. If we decide to hang on to one of those guys, either one, I'm okay with. Like, again, like I put Jay Rich and Doug both in there because let's say we get rid of Jay Rich. Now Doug is just that 3. He's just our wing for the bench unit and vice versa. I want Roby to be our power forward for the bench unit. Keita is now the 3rd string power forward in my eyes. He can come in at very, very sparingly. I hate Zach Collins as a backup 5. I like Zach Collins as a player. I want to be as patient as I can with him and coming back from his injury, and he's finally going to have more time. So I don't want to be short with him, but the idea of him being the backup center, it sucks. I hate it. But again, I know we're not trying to be that competitive and blah, blah, blah. Gorgie, I thought Gorgie's a great 3rd option. And I wouldn't really want to have him in as like a backup, but when you're stacking him up next to Zach Collins, he's probably as good and probably better, especially his Collins coming off the injury. Maybe Collins it gets better as the season goes along. But if Gorgie ends up being our backup center, I'm fine with that. Neither one of them's where I would want to land. But so That's kind of that's where how my brain operates with how we utilize our bench.
See, and Zach's probably going to play the 4, and they're probably going to throw Jing out there at the 5.
I mean, I would think it fits perfectly to have a guy like Roby be your backup. He fits so much. He looks like Jeremy Sohan, like the way that they're, like their build and everything like that. Like they could just occupy the same kind of role. Like I don't know, like I know he played small ball 5 with OKC, but like I don't want to see none of that.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, we have. I feel like we have plenty of bigs that can make that. Let's where we slide at the 4.
No, that's the thing. I don't think we have.
I think Roby's solidified at the 4, and
Yeah, like
just
that's
throwing crap at the wall for our center position all
Yeah.
year. Like that's how I feel like it's gonna be.
And I'm going to say I think we're going to trade Pirtle this year. So I don't think we're gonna have a 5 to end the year. Like we're gonna be like
That would be
small.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
that's definitely all right. I'll have my starting 5 of Trey, Dev, KJ, Jeremy, Yak. Right. Everybody else is starting 5, or I guess just Chris is starting 5 because Josh wants Primo in, and Juan also wants Primo in. But for me, that's the starting 5. Trey, I feel like leads that offense perfectly. I feel like he sets up KJ and Devin well, like to where it's not a crazy drop off from what we saw DeJounte do last year. So in terms of playmaking,
Yeah,
that's what I'll.
because if you want KJ and Devin to both have increased offensive roles, then you don't want to throw Primo into that mix also. You want to give them the space, and Trey is just the table setter for those other 2 guys.
Exactly. So for me, Trey at least keeps the playmaking capabilities up to par to where KJ still gets the looks that he was getting last year, to where he's still getting those nice spot up. He was 40% like spot up 3-point shooter. Let's try to make sure that we're keeping that consistent. You know what I mean? Like let's see if we can get Trey Jones, in that offense where we're giving KJ those opportunities, right? So I feel like Trey Jones being our starting point guard just makes the offense still feel complete, in a sense that we just lost an all-star. You're never going to be better, but you can at least make up for some part of it, right? And then off the bench, you're giving Josh Primo that 6-man role. You're letting him take every shot that he wants, but also learn playmaking as well. Start understanding the situation, just like how Trey would do it. So at that point, he gets to start to solidify himself as a playmaking guard, to where we can have him as a point guard, but I still like him as a scoring guard as well. It's not like I'll say that he can't be either or. So I think that he can either shoot 20 shots a game off our bench, or he can facilitate and try to, give 20 shots to anybody else. I think that he can do that as our 6-man.
Okay, so then that's where I'll step in. To start this summer, you trade DeJounte Murray, you trade away your all-star point guard. My immediate thought was, okay, well then start Primo. Like if that's your decision, then Primo needs to get every burn he can, like as the starting point guard. As like the summer went on, and like as I looked back, and yes, like Trey would help facilitate when DeJounte went out there at the end of the year, and like the assists and the offensive numbers really weren't that much of a drop off with Trey in there as a facilitator. I did start to kind of come along to the idea of like, I agree. I think Trey is a high-end playmaker, and he will just help set the table for Keldon and Devin and even like Jakob in that unit. And it probably will give them it gives them a better look and opportunities in that lineup than like throwing Primo in there and like having Primo learn. Now, saying that, I think in my mind, the reason I said I'm okay with him starting is this gives Primo an opportunity to, I guess, prove, did you take a leap this year? Like maybe a month, 2 months at the most. Like if he can score and facilitate and be a point guard, then he can prove and say, all right, I'm ready to be in that lineup and I can help elevate this team.
Yeah.
By
show
providing
that he can be a table setter as well.
Yeah, and then if not, then he's okay being like a scoring guy off the bench and getting plenty of opportunities. Then that, I guess like that's okay. Because I want him to start. I want him to be our starting point guard. And I know Jake, you're saying like you don't want him to be like either or. Like I agree. I don't want him to be either or. I want him to be both. I want him to be like capable of any night. Like I can go for 30 tonight, and I can help set up my guys, and I can finish this game with 10 assists and get everybody else rolling. That's what I want from him. But if that's not what he can do right now, then I think like letting him burn and grow, because he's still only 19 years old. Like let him come off the bench.
This should be his rookie year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but I'm on board with Josh. Like I want him to be the starting point guard for this team. I need him to be. You know, like
Yeah,
trade away DeJounte.
and what you were saying about if he's going to make that jump, it's going to be because he showed it to you, right? So like
Yes.
I just think that in terms of what we've been shown, Trey Jones has progressed every year. It's just his turn. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Until
And-
Josh Primo comes and takes it from him. Like,
And I think that
you have to earn it. Keldon Johnson said that too. He was said like Keldon Johnson knows he's number one on the depth chart, but that doesn't change his approach of saying, I want to earn my respect for my teammates. I want to earn the things that people say are given to me right now. And so I feel like that's just kind of where it's at. It's like, well, let's let Josh earn those minutes first, and then we'll make the decision.
I think that when Jake said that there's not much of a drop off playmaking, that's crazy to me because DeJounte did everything. Like you couldn't sag on him because he's going to shoot the 3-ball. Like when you defend a player knowing that they could score anywhere, like it's different than having Trey out there. Like you could sag off a Trey.
It is up to Trey to show the opposite of that. It is up to.
That's what I was going to say. The only thing that Trey.
That's Primo. That's
Primo but DeJounte had to do that too. DeJounte had to prove that
he had to prove it. But even Josh Primo has shown way more than Trey that he's a shooter. And when you play somebody like that, like
and at
he
the
could
moment,
shoot the ball, he could drive, he could do different things. That opens the floor for the Keldons and like DeJounte set them up. We're gonna miss that. They're gonna defend Trey Jones way differently. I don't think that he's gonna be like y'all keep saying he's gonna set the table for these guys. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that he can, and I hope that Keldon, but they're gonna defend him like way different than they would defend DeJounte.
There was a stretch last season when DeJounte was out and Trey stepped into that starting lineup, and all the numbers were like it was hardly a drop off. Like
you're talking about in overall offense.
Yeah, the rate and like
just
our
overall offense. Yeah, but that could be everybody stepped. Oh shit, DeJounte's out for 5 games. We're gonna pick it up now. He's not out for 5 games. We have him 0 games.
But again, we've already everybody has said like nobody's
super
small
sample size like.
But when it came to DeJounte leaving the team, everybody's message was nobody's gonna replace him 1 for 1. We all have to do it. So like that's what you just said about like, well, he's not out for 5 games, he's out for the year. Like or he's gone. We know that. Everybody knows that. Gone. So we're gonna have to spell him in a different way.
I get what you're saying, like as far as like his threat as a scorer, like how it's gonna affect everybody else, but like his strength is playmaking.
It's everybody else, yes, but I'm just talking about in the way that you defend a Trey Jones. Like you could put the best defender on Trey Jones, and we'll see. I mean, I doubt they're gonna do that, but I'm just saying, like, I just want to see him. I don't know if he'll be able to set everybody up if he's getting harassed by
Okay, so then to that point,
all day, every day.
To that point, it might not even be Primo like overwhelmingly like proving to you that he should be the starting point guard. It might be okay, Trey's not like up to par with what we need, and then you're forced to play Primo. Like either one of those things could happen, and like again, I think Trey's strength is being a playmaker and doing stuff like that, is setting up his teammates. And I don't know, to me, he's a true point. He's not a scoring guy. He's not anything like that. He can just get his guys going, and he slashes and he cuts and he does like everything like off ball. And I don't know.
All we really need from him is just a little bit more willingness to shoot from range, to put a little bit more pressure on the defense in that way. That's really all we don't need for him to be a 3 where you feel like he can score from anywhere on the floor. You just need to feel like you can't sag off him as much as you do now.
Because I agree. If that's Primo and Primo has this pull-up 3, if Primo has like a pull-up 3 like in his bag this year and he's coming off a pick and rolls with Yak and people sag off just a little bit and he lets that fly, it's going to open up everything like for the whole offense. I get that. That's why I'm on board with you. I want Primo to prove it later on in the year. I'm thinking like January, like let him go for the rest of the year like that. But I don't know. I think Trey's strength is a playmaker and setting people up, and it might just be a stopgap for like the next couple of months, like fitting him in this lineup.
I think I could finish it off by saying this, like, because I think that Trey being our starting point guard raises the floor of how good the team can be. But the possibilities of what Primo can add to our starting lineup as our point guard would raise the ceiling of what the guys could be. Like I think that's kind of how I could see it. Is like, if Trey is our point guard, you kind of understand like this is the good efficiency that we're gonna get.
Mhm.
If Primo's our point guard, there's a chance that we're not gonna be as good, but then there's a chance that we could be even better.
And that's where the question of like, well, what's our overarching goals for the year? Are we trying to have a solid floor and build a foundation, or are we trying to really push to see how high our ceiling is? I would feel like there are a lot of people who feel like we're not really trying to see how high our ceiling is just yet. We want to wait on that. So what if we really establish our foundation?
And I think that having Trey Jones as our point guard opens up as many possibilities as we can for everybody.
Yeah.
Because it keeps it. I mean, obviously, that it's not like we really have to be arguing who's going to get touches, because everybody's like nobody's doesn't matter, right? But if we're trying to maximize that kind of stuff, we're trying to be like, well, who can get the most amount of touches while they're on the floor kind of thing, then I think Devin and KJ being your starters and Primo being your bench gives those three people the max amount of touches that they can get in this situation.
We'll see, because we felt that way about DeJounte and Derek White and keeping them separated, and they played them together just about every opportunity they could. So we might get Primo right up next to those other two guys, and then we'll figure that out.
And then I didn't really finish off the depth, but real quickly, what did I said that just Primo as my sixth man, right? I kind of wanted a Malachi / Blake either or, doing whatever as the other guard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I agree with Chris. I kind of want either Josh Richardson or Doug at that 3, just because in my head I'm looking to trade those guys, and I need those guys to get their value up. I love both Doug and Josh, and I love them both on our team as vets and stuff like that. In the direction that we're going, I'm looking to trade those guys to get whatever we can, whatever value that we can. So if we're trading both of those guys, if we're trading one of those guys, and it can turn into just a first round pick, whether that's late, whether it's future, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to get that value for those guys up so that we can get a first round pick in return or whatever, right? And then power forward Isaiah Roby all the way. Kate is cool, but I think the pickup of Isaiah Roby really did just kind of like knock him down, right? Like nobody was really, I wouldn't say like, nobody was expecting it, right? But nobody was necessarily like ready to like, it's not like anybody was like ready to see him get waived by the Thunder. So the second that he got put on waiver wire, it was a good opportunity for us to pick up a solid secondary power forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then our 5, same thing. I wouldn't mind if Zach is our 5. I wouldn't mind if Gorgie is our 5, because I would like to see maybe Gorgie's our Bryn Forbes of the year. Maybe he's the spot where he's getting those minutes, and then some contributing team is like, oh, we need a Gorgie on our team. We'll give you a second round pick for him. You know what I mean? Just like how Denver did last year. So it's kind of how I feel with the depth. We can kind of move on into just like our first week of. Were you gonna say something, Chris?
I just wanted to ask real quick, like, is everybody of the mindset that they don't want to finish the year with Doug and J Rich and like, you know what I mean? Like, is there any of those guys that you want to keep that you would be okay if we did hang on to them to the end of the year? Like,
I'm trading everybody.
Okay.
I would trade everybody. I don't think there's a single person on our team that I wouldn't trade right now.
I understand, and I like agree with the value like the veteran brings to a locker room, helping your guys learn how to be a pro, helping them learn what it's like, day in, day out. I totally understand all that. It's just hard to like see the direction this team is going, and to see those guys take minutes from like a lot of young guys who can grow on this team. Because I think our team, all the young guys right now are the supporting cast, right? They're all foundation pieces, but nobody is yet, right? Like nobody's shown it yet to be
the number one
guy, the number one guy. And so like you have to like just see all your little young kids just run around and see what they can do.
But specifically like J Rich and Doug, they're not occupying any minutes that Blake Wesley's going to get. We're not asking Blake to go out and guard a wing or be in that position on the court. You know what I mean? So like,
But
if
see,
anything, you would the way to fully see what Blake can be is to put him next to a guy like Doug McDermott. How can he set up a veteran shooter? You know what I mean? To see that sequence play its way.
I get that, because it's the same thing with like that's why you want Trey to be there to facilitate.
Yeah,
for the
like
start. Like
if
you
you
need them to get
just
good
put
looks.
rookies along next to rookies, you get guys figuring it out next to guys figuring it out, and then you never get to fully see what was even the point of this play. You know what I mean? It's like if you get J Rich out there, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, you find him, he shows you how the play ends, and then you're like, that's the
Yeah.
sequence. Now repeat that 100 times. You know what I'm saying?
So I guess to answer your question, Josh Richardson would probably be the only one I would keep, and I'm putting Doug like on the block. I mean, yeah, I really just don't see any. I don't know. I don't need Doug running around chunking up every 3-pointer, and for this team to like that's not, to me, that's not doing that. What you're talking about is Doug just being like off the bench and just letting it fly whenever he wants.
But again, it would be at the product of a guy like Blake finding his shooter, Malachi making good plays for his teammates. You know what I mean? A game where Doug McDermott hits 5 threes doesn't have to be about Doug McDermott hitting 5 threes. It's about Blake Wesley getting a career high in assists and taking steps forward as a point guard. You know what I'm saying? So like you can't have those moments without the other half of it, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't, at least personally, like I don't think that I would be down with at least one of those guys staying just for what they bring. They don't have to get heavy minutes, and maybe most of their impact comes at practice. I don't know, and off the court, and all that kind of stuff. But I do think that we don't have any. We're not competing for a championship, so as much as in the same breath of all of since we're not competing, we can just get rid of them all. Since we're not competing, we can keep one of them and just use them for that value. They're not the final glue piece of a contending team. They're just our developmental assists. You know what I'm saying?
So the way that I see it is like to start off the year, exactly what you're saying. I want to have a Josh Richardson in there. I want to have whoever vet to like be able to like, help the guys. Like that's why I said Josh Richardson as my honorable mention for 6 man of the year, because he's gonna help make the team better just because he's reliable, right? Just because that he's reliable to do what you need him to do, right? And so then we're going through the first half of the season and we have all that stuff. By February, by trade deadline, I want to see Blake Wesley, Josh Primo, or Blake Wesley, Trey Jones, whatever, right? And then Malachi Brenham, all three of those guys in whichever who's starting between Josh Primo and Trey Jones, right? I want to see all three of those guys out there, and that means getting Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott out of there. Like you need to have that one spot filled.
You would want to see a scenario where Blake, Malachi, and Josh Primo are all playing on the same court at the same time, all three of them?
As my second unit, yes. Like that, because at that point for me, it's like
who defends the wing at that
either or of Brenham. Honestly, like because I understand that you're very keyed in on having positions, right? For me,
it's not even that I have it. It's that the taller player is not going to be the one running the point guard position. He's going to be the wing. That's why.
So my gear though is that positionless basketball being the way it is, Brenham's not your point guard, but Wesley and Primo are your two guards, and then honestly, whoever on the defensive end, whoever you want on the defensive end to guard.
You don't consider Blake a point guard?
No, I said Blake. Did I say Blake? I meant to say Brenham. Brenham is not your point guard. Brenham is the only person that's not your point guard. Primo and Blake can be point guards, right?
So okay.
So yes, I do consider Blake
as in a lineup like that. Defensively, I would have Primo at the 2, like Blake.
Yeah, and Blake, I would put Blake at the 1, Primo at the 2, and Brenham.
And so yeah, like I mean, I'm just saying like it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't really matter who's guarding who, because I feel like as positionless as it can get, like you're just letting all three of those guys just go out and guard the 3 quote unquote shortest people on the court, right? And I think that Brenham, Primo, and Blake Wesley, or for the most part, Blake Wesley and Primo have shown defensive, like upside. Brenham a little less, right? Like, he's got stuff to work on. But they're all young. They can all learn. And so, I mean, you just throw them out there. You just put them out there to learn and understand what it is, to defend a guy that's taller, a guy that's longer.
But for the whole game, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what lessons can you learn about being out of position for the whole game?
But that's my point, is that it's not out of position. It's positionless. You're not, what if the other team is playing 3-6-4 people, just like we're playing 3, how tall is if I'm not mistaken, it's like
Mavericks are huge across the whole board.
A lot of teams are. That's what the NBA is now.
It's literally what our guys.
Not well. Okay, but in that regard, then our guys are they're too small to be positionless. We don't.
That's
like
why
all three of those
I don't
guys.
like Trey. That's why I told y'all. I've been telling y'all that since last year. Like, I understand he does everything, but he's too goddamn small.
Yeah, but Trey is stacked up with his support is Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and Jakob Poeltl and Jeremy Sohan. You're not giving that same support, and that's what I'm trying to say is you're not giving that same support to a guy like Blake, a guy like Malachi. They need support as rookies. They need support. It's not just throw them out there, because that's where they learn bad habits.
So
then it becomes harder to unteach bad habits before you reinstill good habits. That's
why I'm saying that it's going to happen.
That Pop won't let bad habits happen.
Exactly. Okay. And then by February, halfway into a year, into a full season, that's when you can start to integrate them into.
I am 100% okay with that idea. The veterans provide the leadership as the beginning, and then you start to rely on your guys to learn how to do it on their own. That part I'm totally fine with. I just don't see a scenario where we can be successful getting rid of all of our veterans and having just all those we don't have the depth for that. It
has to be Josh, right?
Yes.
It has to be Josh because of the contract. Because isn't Josh a free agent after this year anyway?
Yes.
And Doug is still on the books, and Yak is still on the books. So if you're going to move 2 of the 3, it has to be Doug and Yak. Because then come the following season, we're going to have Cap and we're going to have picks.
Now I'm on the record. I do not want to get rid of Jakob for any reason.
I think it's going to happen because of offers. They're going to offer us
maybe
like something
by trade deadline.
But if I'm the San Antonio Spurs and Jakob Poeltl is on the books for $9 million this year, and then that's it, I'm just asking him, what is your number to stay? And if we can work on a reasonable, we're gonna have the cap space to give him a reasonable offer and have security in that position. If we're in a rebuild, yes, but you can't tear everything down. You can't.
But that's why I'm saying I get that. I think if they freaking traded DeJounte Murray for 4 picks, like if somebody comes up with 2 picks for Jakob this trade dedeline, I think they're gonna pull the trigger because they don't see this team going anywhere either. Like that those core pieces that we had, the DeJountes, the Derek Whites. They're getting rid of all of them, and I just think Jakob is part of that group. And if you get 2 more picks and then you come to the freaking draft this summer, now you have like 8-10 picks over the next 3 years, 4 years. You could just all bundle up if you don't get the number one.
That's exactly where I was going to go with this. Is that in this sense, right? The 2 picks that you get, the 2 future first round picks that you get for Jakob Poeltl is going to be Poeltl. Sorry, the 2 first round picks that you get for him are going to be more valuable than Jakob himself.
And I also realize that the overarching target is a center, right? Everybody's thinking
is a 7'4" center.
I totally get that too. So and so you're absolutely right. The offers probably will be the most dictating factor along the way. Is just what if people are going to pay for Jakob Poeltl?
We could we could end up getting an offer from whatever 3-4 seed.
I agree with all that. I guess where my head is that I wouldn't go seeking those offers. My first option for Jakob Poeltl would be like, what can we do to keep you around on a decent pay scale? Look, this is our plan. We're gonna have money moving forward. We don't want to spend it all on you. We want to be able to go get blah blah blah. So what's a good number? And if you can't come to that, then you can't come to that. But again, I get what you're saying about I know the fear of, well, then we're gonna lose him for nothing, and we could have got something from. I get all that, but my first option would be to hang on to him for this year.
Yeah. Well, we do have a 3-game slate coming up against Charlotte, Indiana, and Philly. I really don't necessarily want to start I kind of want us to start transitioning into less of a game by game and even less of a week by week type of mindset, because you look at Charlotte, you look at Indy, you look at Philly, and I think everybody can kind of tell who's
good. It's good to frame it though that way, just because that's when we reconvene. Is once a week, so that's just kind of it checks out.
I mean, like we can have some things, to talk about the games, but I'm saying like in terms of win loss, I don't think we really need to do win loss anymore. We're rebuilding. We're not looking as a team. They're not looking to win. So
I want to lose every game.
So see,
I'm flipping mine.
So Josh was trying to win every week, and now Josh is trying to lose every week. So we don't have to necessarily look at it game by game. We don't even, like I said, we don't really have to even look at like who our opponents are in that sense. What I kind of want to
start the season with the dub because LaMelo's broke himself.
LaMelo's hurt. Indiana's, Indiana. So
well, and here's the thing: is when you talk about that,
I was high on Tyrese Halliburton, and like hindsight, oh my goodness, I hate my basketball team right now.
I'm telling you, man. I like as the president of the Developmental fan club, I'm telling you that Devin is going to be as good as Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, but you just said it right there. Devin is going to be as good as Tyrese. Tyrese Halliburton is better than him right now. If to me, okay, look, this is like completely hypothetical. What ifs? If we would have taken, I mean, I don't know if we were going to trade DeJounte anyways, but we did trade our point guard. We traded our best guy. Dang, I can't think. I'm going blank. Who's the guy making the deals?
Brian Wright.
Brian Wright. If Brian Wright in his mind was like, we're going to trade DeJounte at some point. To me, you draft the point guard. You draft Halliburton over Vassell. Then the next year, I don't know what we would have done with the Primo pick. But then we could have got like Duran. If we would have had Halliburton, ex-player, and then like Duran, I think we would have been perfect going forward. That would have been our point guard and our center.
I think you're still in the same spot.
I would say yours, because Halliburton is on a team right now that's in the same position as us.
So that's exactly what I was gonna say.
He was on the Kings, and they had De'Aaron Fox, and they were going nowhere. And then now he's on the Pacers.
Yeah, but Sacramento this year. But Sacramento chose. I think they chose wrong. I would have traded Fox. And then they would have had Tyrese Halliburton, they would have Keegan Murray, and they would have Sabonis. And I think Sacramento is going to be a good team this year. I think they just messed up. Sacramento did, because Tyrese Halliburton could be in a position right now. And I know they traded the better player, and I couldn't even tell you what they got. It was the Sabonis, right, Wayne?
They got Sabonis,
and that's probably why he's over there, because he was the better player. But Sacramento is in a good spot. Like, yeah, they moved him to that spot, not because Halliburton wasn't good. That's just what Sacramento did.
So we basically did the same type of thing. It's just we went wing first, point guard, and then we went big man this year. Like,
I just think Tyrese Halliburton is going to be a better point guard than Primo. He's going to we could have had our point guard for the future. Like, we could have had. And then say if we would have got Victor, again. If we could have our point guard for the future and our center for the future, I think that's good. And then he's huge too. Like, Chris wants a big point guard. Like, I think that's a big ass point guard.
I think I said this earlier that we're finally in a position where everybody's gonna get these crazy amount of touches. We're gonna see these guys be able to shoot, whatever, right? That's exactly the position that Tyrese Halliburton was in his first couple years in the league. It's the position that he's still in. He looks good. Yes, he looks good. But has it contributed to winning basketball? It has not. So, I mean, we're going to have our guys look good. Is it going to contribute to winning basketball? Probably won't. But I think that we're going to look just as good as those other young guys throughout the league. It's just finally,
but to me, it's not only the points with him. It's like you're saying obviously we want our point guard to have the assist. And Juan said earlier, man, I would love for Primo to go out there and drop 30 and have 10 plus assists a game. Like Tyrese Halliburton is doing that already. He's dropping 30 points and having 20 assists a game.
Again,
It's
doing
like,
that already
God
because he
damn.
didn't have an all-star in front of him to take touches away, and he didn't have to come off the bench for his first year in the
Well,
league.
I understand, but I'm
Like,
just saying not everybody does that. Like that's
and then
that's not,
even-
not just the young guys. There's all-star point guards that don't have his numbers. I'm just
I'm
like,
gonna
God dang, and he's
I'm
young.
gonna even bring up this right now, right? Like I'm not trying to like talk bad about us at all, and I really don't agree. Like, or like I just want to say that there's some truth in this that I think I can agree to an extent to, right? Did y'all hear that there's like a little clip going around of I think it was Steven Jackson, right?
Oh, and he said that
Yeah.
That
Manu
like
and
this.
Tony held him back.
Well, he's just saying that like the Spurs system holds you back, right? And I'm not agreeing with it all the way, but I think there's a little bit of truth in it to an extent that we are a team-oriented system. Like our offense does not run through one player.
Pop says it himself. He says you have to get over yourself, and that
Exactly.
means team. And if you're working on the team, that means sometimes you have less of your own self in that.
So imagine going to a team like Sacramento when there's not a whole system set up, when there's not anything built around, and they're just like, all right, well, you just play basketball, right? Compared to the Spurs, where you go into this system that has been built from the last 20 years, and Pop tells you this is your role, this is what we want you to do, you're gonna do it. You know, like
now I agree with everything you're saying on that, Jake. I was just gonna add real quick the same mindset. Like if you trust that they are sending Devin in a good path of like that, then that's what I want for Malachi and Brenham. And I think throwing them out there with Primo or all three at the same time is Sacramento. Is just go out there. There's no structure. Just go out there. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I am like,
or getting rid of Jakob and having no center is a little bit of that. It's too far to the other side. In my opinion.
I'm on the side that even if we do end up having like this like kind of mindset that is sort of Sacramento like, it's still
you don't want to be
Pop.
Sacramento in any iteration.
I'm saying that it's still Pop and it's still the Spurs that we're gonna like. It's still gonna look better than what Sacramento looked like. That's my point.
I think that DeMar DeRozan and Kawhi Leonard debunked that.
The Jackson thing on the whole is pretty dumb.
Yeah,
I get the angle that I agree with what Jake is saying though about just that the Spurs system, it sometimes means that players have to take steps backwards in terms of don't do this as much because we need other things to happen as well. Like I agree with that. Like and Pop would tell you that, and Pop would tell you that a guy like Manu is somebody who busted out of that thing because of his production. So like it's there. I agree with Steph with that one small little nugget. Everything else that he said was dumb.
Yes,
it was stupid.
DeMar
did the same thing. DeMar was here, put up these numbers, went there, put up the same numbers, and he gets praised. Like maybe San Antonio is, he said it. DeMar said it. He felt like everybody forgot about him, but it's not like he wasn't doing his job. He went over there to Chicago. He did the same shit, and
that has nothing to do with the basketball fundamental or the way that we structure our team. Yeah,
no, but he did the same thing. He didn't. He got better in San Antonio. He even said it in his interview. He got better over here. He took it to Chicago. Like we didn't hold him back. We're not holding nobody back.
That's pretty much what I'm saying, though, is that
it's gonna be the same thing with DeJounte. DeJounte's gonna average 28 and 8 over there with Atlanta.
They're gonna be like, and they're gonna praise him.
Be like, oh my gosh, he was being held back in San Antonio, and it's like, no, he was not.
He was doing the same shit. Like I don't think that was no.
So the way that I feel about it though is that like looking at the Stars, that the Stars are gonna have like that type of production in that sense, right? Like the fact that DeMar did get better in San Antonio, to me, what am I trying to get here? I'm trying to say that like our rookies, you don't ever really see the rookies get that same open look kind of stuff that other rookies get in comparison to how like a star versus a star would get. You know what I mean? Like DeMar in Toronto is still going to get the same amount of touches as DeMar in San Antonio is still going to get the same amount of touches as DeMar in Chicago, right? Whereas Devin Vassell in Sacramento would get 8 billion more touches compared to Devin Vassell in San Antonio, right? So that's like, I guess, like the point that I'm trying to get at is that like these other rookies around our guys, they were able to have like these more open opportunities, and finally our guys are getting the open opportunities.
Yeah.
I think that this year is going to show that they're going to be as good as the other guys in the league.
But
go ahead.
I was gonna say, looking at like Halliburton's numbers, he averaged 8 or 9 assists like over there when he got traded to Indiana. Like just those games playing in Indiana. I know he had all the opportunity, probably had the ball in his hand every play. It's a lot of players nowadays. When you're the guy on your team, you have the ball in your hand every play, and that's to the point you guys are making is like we spread the ball around. That's the team philosophy, and other teams are just like give it to Luka Doncic, 48 minutes of a game. And that's why his numbers are James Harden when he was in Houston. Like their numbers are so high because they have the ball in his hands. But to Halliburton's credit, he has really good like offensive numbers. His shooting splits are great. His assist numbers are high, and he's a point guard. You know what I mean? Like he's doing that for his team. Yeah, like we'll see like how it contributes to winning basketball this year. You have an opportunity to see him firsthand to start the season, and I'll be interested to see. Because I agree. It's like when you look at like guys like that behind me, but that happens every year, right? Like, oh my gosh, we should have drafted this, we should have drafted that.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, like, me was position like point guard. Like we went in the last 2 years, we could have had Halliburton, and I think he's an awesome point guard. And we drafted 2 point guards in the last 2 years. So I'm just like, why not taking Halliburton if that's what you're going to be doing?
Well, see, I don't know about that. Like,
we drafted we spent 2 first-round picks on point guards.
And then I'm still gonna disagree with you and say that we did not draft Primo as a point guard. We did not draft Primo as a point guard.
We drafted him as a point guard.
We could draft it like we could have had the mindset that he could have turned into a point guard. And I mean, honestly, that's kind of how we're working with him. That, hey, try to turn into a point guard.
I'm just saying exactly what you said about Trey Jones.
In no way did we draft Primo and look at how he played in Alabama and go, yeah, this guy can be a point guard. It's like, no, he's a good 2 guard. He can shoot the ball well. He has solid ball handling. Just like how we worked with DeJounte, we can work him into being a solid playmaker. And that's like, then he becomes a point guard, right? That's we drafted him as a 2 guard at first. I think Blake Wesley's the only person that I would say we drafted to be a point guard. Like, because that's just
why do I feel like Wesley's more of a slashing guard?
Yeah,
like I feel like when he said that he wants to be a point guard, it was a little bit of like, I don't think that's what we got you for.
Honestly, you're right. Like I would say that even Wesley was kind of drafted with the mindset that he's a scoring guard that we can develop into a playmaker.
Both of them, we put them straight to the point.
Yeah.
San Antonio, that's what they did. I don't think they were going to send him down there, play point, come over here, play the 2.
I think a lot of the NBA these days, like I just said, is if you're the best player, you need to have your all-around game because you're going to have the ball in your hand every play. And I think they were just trying to develop more playmaking ability for Primo because if you're a scoring guard, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, look at like those examples, like Luka and like players like that where their focus is taking whatever the defense gives them, and to do that you have to be able to do it all. And like I think a lot of players nowadays is just like just put the ball in your best player's hand and then like either let them go to work, because then like you get, I don't know, like situations where like I don't think you get like dead end situations like kind of like as talented as like Carmelo Anthony was. Like what else was he doing, you know what I mean, besides just chucking up shots every game. And I don't think you get that as much as in the NBA because of like the style like LeBron, Luka, like James Harden, like they brought is just like, I don't matter what position you are, you're the guy that you have the ball in your hand and are going to make plays off of it.
Even Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis.
As the best player.
I don't know. We'll get a good look. I agree with like how Jake said, like looking at the week. I think you'll be able to do more of like that. Like, all right, well, let's see how Devin stacks up against Tyrese Halliburton. Like, is there growth there?
We're for sure going to be more developmental minded. But also what I like about it is it's going to make us have to think about the other team a little bit more. Like last year, we kind of made it a point to be like, we're going to talk about the Spurs. We don't need to spend too much time talking about the other guy. I don't really care about Charlotte. But in terms of the developmental side of things, we do want to know how LaMelo Ball is going to affect our starting point. We're talking about hounding a guy like Trey Jones. Well, then we got to talk about who he's going to be going up against. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
but I think
it's going to be.
like,
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Like, I'm gonna predict that Philadelphia game. Like, I could see us losing by 30 because of Joel Embiid. Like, what type of lineups were we gonna be able to roll out there to stop like their type? And it's like things like that this year. That what type of matchups are we gonna be able to like provide based off of like our youth right now?
Yeah.
And I don't expect us to win like all the battles, but it'll be cool to see like the Indiana game. Like if Devin can go blow for blow with Tyrese Halliburton, he's not going to be the point guard or playmaker that Halliburton does, but like Devin and Keldon to like prove like, hey, we're on the same level as this other young superstar in the league. You know what I mean? Like we can do that. And if they can't, I don't think it's the end of the world, but
yeah, the wins loss thing will probably take a backseat, but the same way that the coaches their job is to where are we going to be able to find success in these games. That'll be kind of where our eyes try to go to. Is like, well, how can we be successful against Charlotte, against Indiana, against Philly? So it'll be fun. I think as the weeks roll along, we'll have more to dig into the games. Today it's nothing, right? It's a blank slate. We got Charlotte, we got Indiana, we got Philly. We'll see how we look after a week, you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff.
To me, at least when I look at these three teams and I look at who their like star players are, I'm looking to see Devin Vassell do his thing this week. That's like already like I want to see him put up good numbers against Charlotte. I want to see him defend well in Indiana. I want to see him defend well and shoot well against Philly because
I want to see Devin be efficient.
Yeah.
I don't quite like love Devin taking 15 shots a game and he's only shooting like 30 something percent. Like then you'll see like a Tyrese Maxey like graphic and he shot 9 for 12 that night. Like I want Devin to take the right shots, but sometimes he has a lot of good looks and they just don't fall. And at some point you got to stop saying like, oh, if only they fall. So that's what I'm looking forward. Like Devin started off hot this week, but do it like in an efficient manner, not like how you said. Just
but this is the year though where it's like now his efficiency matters because he has the ball in his hand so much. Or last year or the years before, it mattered because you knew he would only get limited opportunities, and now it matters because he gets all the opportunities or a lot of opportunities. So it just matters in a different way.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I guess like I'm saying, like particularly right, I'll be watching to see how well, honestly, whoever guards James Harden, as y'all know, as everybody knows,
but things like that, like you're not going to stop James Harden or Joel Embiid, but like get a good look at what type of your young guys can want to step up to that challenge, and
then who's going to take advantage of the fact that James Harden's a cone, like stuff like that, right?
I'll say like from what like I'm kind of looking at this week. I mean, Charlotte and Indiana both are now teams that are in that same conversation of, well, is it worth it more for them to lose games than win games? And so that puts their competition level right around us. So I want those games to be competitive.
Well, I think Charlotte's a playoff team, no?
Yeah, but
they're not. No, they're not. They're not a playoff team anymore.
But you lose Bridges. You're going to be without Ball for a little bit. Like their stock has fallen.
That's something I was going to say. How long would LaMelo be out?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Yeah, but like more on that side, they didn't do anything.
He was going to miss the start of the season, right? So I thought.
Yeah, Charlotte did not do anything to get better, which I mean, it's unfortunate of the situation that happened, right? But obviously, like,
I mean, you bank on your young guys getting better. I mean, LaMelo's gonna be better. Like, you don't have to make moves to get better.
But that's the point: is that they lost their second best player, who was supposed to be kind of breaking out into almost all-star level type of ball.
Was in the conversations of like, well, who could we pair up with a DeJounte? It was like a John Collins, it was a Bridges, right? It was like that's kind of where he was pushing into being, and he's gone. Yeah, grade two ankle sprain for LaMelo. It just says what you guys said, that he would miss the start of the season.
So like Charlotte didn't do anything to get better in that sense, and then they lost somebody who they didn't fill a hole in. So it's like,
and on top of that, now here, because they took steps back instead of forward, now the temptation or the question arises of, well, maybe you should just keep losing. And so we don't know if that's where their head's at or not. We don't really know yet. But again, because of those two teams, I expect those games to be competitive. I want to see poise from the guys who should show poise, aka the guys who've been here for a couple years, and allow all the jitters to come from our young guys. You know what I mean? We're gonna have so much opportunity for our young guys. They're gonna give us growing pains. So I'm ready to be patient, and not care as much about wins and losses because that's just the way that the year is gonna go. But I want to see Spurs basketball, which means discipline, which means playing for each other, which means having focus in the right moments. I want to see Pop taking smart timeouts to give those guys good insight. I want to see the things that we're accustomed to seeing in Spurs basketball, because if we ever want to be a good team that wins basketball games, it's going to be those things that take us there. So that's what I want to see, all year. But we're starting the year, so let's just get those good habits going.
Exactly. Well, all right. I think that goes into just our last thing of the day. I wanted to start off the year a little fun. We are all big Spurs fans and everything like that. But the other thing that I know that we all share a very huge common interest in is in music. And so the last thing that I want to do today is I wanted to give us a little quiz, just a little segment, right? This is our music trivia challenge, where Chris, if you could pull up the
oh yeah, sure, my fault.
presentation right now. We have our Spurs Guess That Lyric. All right. So I'm going to have a couple lyrics here. I'll send them out. We'll have a couple little choices for you to guess from. I want to hear your guesses and then see who gets it right. All right. So our first lyric. This one's pretty easy.
Wait.
What?
Are we gonna give each other the chance to all think about it, and then do we interrupt each other and blurt it out? How are we doing this? Go.
I'll ask y'all who who you think it is. Right. It'll be pretty simple.
We should have thought this through. Maybe next time if we have one, we could write it down so we know that we knew the answer. Yeah, exactly. All right. Anyways,
I'll just do it one by one this time, just so that it's pretty organized, right? First lyric, right? I just hit that tempo like I'm DJ Mustard. Woo. I hit that Ginobili with my left hand up like woo. Is it Drizzy Drake? Is it Big Sean? Or is it Ye? Josh, I'm gonna let you go first.
It's Drake.
It's Drake. Juan, who do you think?
It's Drake.
Chris?
Jumpman.
That is indeed a Drake lyric. I went pretty easy with that first one. Everyone should know that one, right? That was Jumpman by Drake from his album What a Time to Be Alive. All right, our next one. Bitch, I can't hear nothing, and I might do them Spurs sitting on them Tim Duncans.
Oh.
Okay. We got Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, or Nelly. Juan, who do you think it is?
Okay. I'll go Lil Wayne.
All right, Chris?
I'll also say Lil Wayne.
All right,
Josh? It is Lil Wayne.
All right, Josh, do you know the song? Because it is Lil Wayne.
I know it's Lil Wayne, and I do not know the song, and I know it's Lil Wayne.
Okay, so
for the record,
quick.
that was a guess for me.
Oh man! All right, so since y'all are all tied, I want y'all to give me a guess on what year you think this came out in.
It's on a mixtape.
Okay.
Yeah, 20.
So I guess I'll give the hint that it's before 2010, right?
I was gonna say like 07.
Okay, Juan?
Yeah, probably.
I'll go 05.
Yeah, I was gonna go 04.
It was indeed 07. It was from his mixtape, The Drought 3.
Yeah, The Drought.
So yeah, Josh, that was pretty good. Knowing that it was
if you would have asked me in 2010, I probably would have remembered the song or remembered the mixtape or something. But I'm very far removed from 2007.
So yeah, that was an 07 lyric from The Drought 3. All right, our next one. In the game like Tony Parker, Snow White Range, let my partner park it.
What the hell
is that?
None of these lyrics
Busta Rhymes. Honestly, I was reaching to get a couple of them. So we got Busta Rhymes, The Game, or Rick Ross. Chris, who do you think it is?
I hope it's not Busta Rhymes because I don't really like the lyric. I'm gonna say
Let my partner park it. That's tight, fool.
Yeah,
let my
I
homie
kind
drive
of
my
I
range.
kind of feel like it's a Rick Ross kind of line. Snow White
Okay.
range, let my partner park it.
Josh.
Let my partner
Also, the way that
park it.
As soon
I'm
as
saying the
Josh said
game.
it kind of had like a Rick Ross vibe to it when he said
Okay,
it.
okay.
I'm going.
Josh?
I'm going Rick Ross.
All right. Josh, what do you think?
I said the game.
You
They're
said the
going Rick
game?
Ross, I'm going the game, yeah.
Oh man. So it was indeed Rick Ross.
Buster. Oh,
It was
It was
indeed Buster
Buster
Rhymes.
I'll be disappointed if that was Buster.
I went opposite of these guys because we've all been picking the same.
yeah. Try to
Okay.
get one up too.
So let's see. What Chris was the one who got that 2007. That puts him at 3 points right now.
Sure.
And then, or no, I think that because what this
I
is
got
the third lyric. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Juan's
that's
got 3, Chris has got 4, and Josh has got 3. So, all right. So that's it was Rick Ross. It was the song "Billionaire" off of his Trilla album.
My favorite.
Yeah. Right. All right. This was my favorite one. This is the whole reason why I wanted to do this one. I hope one of y'all if you know it right off the bat, I'm not gonna have
Buzzing.
I'm not gonna have the names come up, but this is just my favorite one, right? She got me back living sweeter, fresh Caesar, guess David Robinson's Wally Moccasins. Do any of y'all know who that
Wally Moccasins.
who did that one? Do any of y'all know that? Before I go to the choices.
Wait.
I kind of want to like get that frame somewhere. David Robinson's Wally Moccasins.
It's kind of a bar. It's
It's
right?
almost like we were talking about David earlier. Actually, I'm glad that you ended with our episode 50 with the David Robinson lyric.
I know.
We were talking about like him being a staple in the community and stuff. It would be like, oh yeah, the retired legend. Like this is like his store that he has downtown now. He just sells shoes or something. David
He
Robinson.
sells Wally Moccasins.
Wally Moccasins.
Oh man, that would be great. So do any of y'all? Like,
I would
know
need
enough
to
to-
have options just to throw out a guess.
Yeah. This
Okay.
is tough.
All right. So
All
our
right,
options are Scarface, Nas, or Redman.
Ooh,
Wow.
she got me back.
All right. Did I
I'm gonna say
stump y'all
Redman.
with this one?
I'm saying Redman.
Okay, Josh says Redman.
That sounds like a funny bar.
Like a little bit.
Yeah, like Redman will throw that out.
Especially, living sweeter, fresh Caesar. Dave Robinson, she got me. Oh man, that's tough. Just to be different, I'll say Nas.
Okay, well then I'll go Scarface.
Oh, all right. And our winner of today's competition has to go to Chris, as it was a Nas lyric. It was off of the song "Street Dreams" off of his "It Was Written" album.
It definitely felt more like a Scarface or Nas, like sitting in the throne, kind of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the guess, I was like Scarface. I feel like would be less streetwear.
Yeah, so that was the last lyric right there. Chris, you are indeed the winner of this music challenge, just because you were able to get that Nas. You win a thumbs up. There you go, man.
Sure.
Get the thumbs up.
Since I won out, we're basically we're wrapping up for the day. First of all, it was a fun episode. I'm glad to be back with you guys.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a real quick shout out to Mando Z24 on Instagram. He's just a local creator here in San Antonio, but or I think he's based here in San Antonio, but he does drops every now and then on his Instagram doing some Spurs merch. So that's where I got my hat from. I'll show that one real quick.
Ooh, nice. The Coyote.
Yeah. I got
Oh, hey, he's the one that did the Crocs stuff, right?
Crocs stuff.
I thought
I'm
he
not
did
sure.
the little maybe not. I don't want to say.
So I got the hat, and then this is the t-shirt from his
Nice.
last drop. So it's got
Yeah, that's
the
tight.
Tower of America, it's got the Alamo, and then matter of fact, I don't know. Could I just share my screen real quick?
While he is getting that, I just want to.
Actually, no.
I thought he did the
I'd have
Croc
to
widgets
change.
at one time,
I'd
at
have to
one point.
change my setting, and I don't want to do that right now. But if you just check out his IG, like on the back. So this is the where is it at? It says the Good Life 2.0. It's got like a lot of imagery from like the graduation Kanye era. He's got this.
What's his Instagram?
At Mando Z24.
2-4.
So,
Yeah. See, look. All right. It is.
so just wanted to shout him out because definitely had some.
He did the Crocs before, and I wanted them.
Oh
the
yeah,
flex stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, it's right there on your hat, Chris.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So he's
Yeah,
done the
see.
hats, he's done the shirts, he's done like socks and those kind of drops and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So
That's tight.
if you're a Spurs fan, I know like Clan the Spurs fan did a lot of crazy merch over this off season, which was a lot of cool stuff. Mando Z, there's a Campachi, and there's a handful of people doing some Spurs merch out there. So along the way, I would like to try to just kind of support and get a little bit more of that stuff going as well. So wanted to throw that shout out to him since these are the two pieces that we picked up over the summer.
That's
For
tight.
sure. That was super cool. So I wanted to do that little music challenge just to kind of like I don't know. There's like some fun stuff that like the Spurs stuff have and stuff like that. Like if you look up lyrics, definitely a lot of interesting lyrics. And then from artists that I didn't really I have never really had the chance to listen to. I wanted to make sure that I knew who the artists were and made sure that I I wasn't going to just throw out some lyric from Lil Yachty that y'all that I knew like y'all wouldn't know or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to do something fun with that. But I also want to start bringing to our podcast every week. We'll be having a small little trivia about about like how good our guys are, right? It'll be just a little quiz on how good did a specific player do over the week, and I'll be having our brothers here guess and hopefully just kind of know like what stats we're looking at, right? So maybe one week it's an over under on Trey Jones assists, right? Whether that's like 8 assists or something like that, and then
I'm definitely gonna be down for that. It's gonna make us you gotta watch the games, man.
Exactly right. You're gonna have to watch the games and kind of just like remember like, oh, who did good this week. I'm not gonna necessarily try to do who did bad this week and make sure that I keep it on a positive level, but maybe I'll have something along the lines of that. So that's be looking out for that. Be looking out for a little bit of Spurs quiz, Spurs trivia through the weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I know we got some new stuff planned for the show. Today we kind of still have like our old background and all that kind of stuff. All that we're looking to update as fast as we can. We love doing the show, but also it is a hobby for us. You know what I mean? And we all do other things. And Jake's in an important part of his life doing his school thing, and everybody's got their stuff going on. So if we can keep this casual as a day where we can gather together as brothers and talk about Spurs and all that kind of stuff, we're gonna try to keep it as positive as we can and keep building towards that. So I'm excited for this year.
Exactly. Josh, do you have any last things for the week? Anything that you want to bring up?
No, man, it's a big game tonight. Dallas Cowboys, baby.
Dallas Cowboys. It is a big game tonight. Hopefully we can whip some Eagle butt. Hopefully we can.
Smoking on that Eagle pack.
Exactly.
Tonight.
Juan, you got anything to add?
I'm. It's gonna be frustrating. It's gonna be like growing pains, like Chris said, like in some moments, but just taking it all in, seeing the good spots, taking them. Dad always talks about those years where he was like, man, before David showed up, like I don't know what the heck we were doing. He like dad had like some good like memories. And he made me laugh, and he always says like like it's exciting now. There is no. Oh yeah, we got Timmy, Manu, and Tony. Like we're going in here, we're gonna win 50 games this year. Like you don't know what to expect this year. Yeah, we'll probably be like at the bottom of the barrel, but like, there's plenty of opportunity for a lot of these young guys to show, that they deserve to be a piece on this team going forward, and it's exciting, it's fun, and so that's what I'm looking forward to. Obviously, like I got burned. I had 3 DeJounte Murray jerseys, and
Hey, are you gonna do like oh no, they'll only give you like an Atlanta jersey, right? Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. So
that's terrible.
I got them all hanging up in my closet. Probably never gonna take them off the hanger ever again. But
you gotta take them. If DJ could sign them, he didn't leave us in a bad place.
I know. It just
Dude,
I'm
if you could get that signature and you could have that up, that'll be sweet.
Yeah.
Like I
And
got
to
that
be-
KJ, I got that KJ signed jersey. I'll probably never
Nice.
wear it.
And to be honest, like, let's say he moves on from Atlanta. I promise you, as soon as he moves on from Atlanta, you'll feel more emboldened to like just wear it around.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because me and Victoria, we're looking through all our jerseys, and I have like 3 DeJounte, and she looks at hers, and she's got like this Patty Mills jersey. I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong with it. At least you can wear Patty like proud and happy. Like there's no stopping that. So yeah, I'm waiting to get to that point with DeJounte again. But like I got this Primo jersey. I don't know what jersey to get this year because I'm scared. I don't want to grab a jersey of a player that's not going to be here long.
I was trying to say, was Jake trying to pull out some here's his annual, like, here's my D'Angelo Russell jersey I got.
Yeah.
Nah, I was so I did get a new jersey over the off season. I'll show it off next week.
You were looking for that deal. Oh my god! I know which one it is now.
Yeah,
I won't say it. I won't say it.
I got a new jersey over the off season. I was gonna look for it real quick to show it off, but
I think this year I'm going to class. I think I'm gonna get a Ginobili jersey, like with
Gino?
the.
Oh, you're gonna make it
old
like custom
school.
and everything like that, right?
Yeah, because you could just customize them on the website. I might
thought
go
about that.
Duncan. I don't know yet.
I have a black Fiesta Tim Duncan jersey.
Yeah,
maybe
I might
did
go
get one of those.
Duncan.
Maybe for our 50th season, maybe I'll get Robinson.
Well, that'll be tight.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, because
that's
he was at the All-Star game in.
And it would be so good
96,
looking
right?
with those colors and everything.
That's
Yeah,
a
no,
good
that
idea.
it's definitely
Like
something to
would
look
be
out for.
nice.
I might have to go with Sean Elliott just because
Hey.
I feel like that would be a nice little one.
About time you buy a Spurs jersey.
Yeah, no kidding.
I have Spurs jerseys, man. I have Spurs jerseys. I still
But
got
you
my
don't
Spurs.
buy them. Those are gifts.
Are they? No, I bought these. I bought
did
this
you buy
one.
'em? Oh.
Yeah, I bought this one. No, I just happen to look online and I see Donovan. I see
Oh,
a
yeah,
jersey.
your Donovan
Mitchell. Oh,
Dang it! I
God.
spilled it. I spilled it. I see a Donovan Mitchell jersey for like $20-something. I was like, dang,
Yeah,
all right, gotta
hey.
get it.
I would have bought it too.
Exactly, it looks good and it's
I
a
wouldn't
clean
have
jersey.
wore it.
So.
I wouldn't have wore it into off season, but I would have bought it.
Hey, I haven't put it on. The season hasn't started. The season doesn't start until whenever. Until what?
No.
This Wednesday, right?
The season has started, my friend. We're
And
on
even
camera
then,
doing our
I
thing.
wasn't wearing it. I wasn't wearing it at all beforehand or before during preseason.
See, it's
Or one
different.
time.
Like if you buy those jerseys and you like to go to the rec, I feel like you can rock it. Like you're just hooping. But like when you wear it like proudly to the store and stuff.
Bro, it's the Donovan Mitchell jersey on a team that he's not even on anymore. That's where I'm like, okay. Like the only one that I have and I don't wear it. It's the Jimmy Butler jersey. It's the Jimmy Butler jersey because he's still in Miami and I won't wear Jimmy in Miami. But you
You were
already
so
know I'm
excited to buy that
a
one.
big Jimmy fan. You already know I'm a big Jimmy
A
fan.
big what?
A big Jimmy fan. Like that's
Hey, man.
Dang.
All right, what are we
Hey,
in
and
this episode?
another change for the season is I'm gonna push to get some sound bites, and I think Big Jimmy fan might be a good one.
Big
The
Jimmy
first
fan.
one.
There you go. But
Hopefully,
all right, then. I think this is a wonderful start to another great season. I think that we're gonna be showing out a lot this year because like I've said before, like it's not exactly like we're gonna be looking at wins losses. We're gonna have to change it up on the podcast. Can't just have it be the same thing every week. So
yeah.
But guys, if y'all don't have anything else, thank you guys for tuning in. We do this podcast every Sunday at 10 a.m. where we do stream to the platforms of Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. You can catch us on all platforms while we're going live, as well as right after the fact, the VODs will be on all 4 platforms right thereafter. We will be returning back with the clips. We will be coming back with the HHC clips, whether that being on just regular YouTube clips or trying to branch out a little bit and have TikTok and YouTube shorts. So, guys, we appreciate y'all for coming out here and watching us. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
We are out.
Peace.
Peace.
Go Longhorns.